I know I've been going for a very long time, guys, and I'm really sorry about that, but you see, I have some very important family matters to attend to. And don't worry, guys, because I do indeed plan on doing more top 10s besides just Final Fantasy. Today we are going to talk about status effects. Oh, these goddamn things! There is nothing more annoying than fighting monsters who rely solely on cheat tactics to win. Now, there's a little thing called ribbon, but you see, in most cases, ribbons are very hard to get, and some people, like me, don't even like using them that much. So guys, it's showtime. This is my take on the top 10 most annoying status effects in Final Fantasy. Coming up first is Virus from Final Fantasy IX. This status effect isn't life-threatening, but it's still annoying as fuck. The only reason why you're even wasting your time fighting these guys is so you can gain experience points to level up fast. Problem is, they love to use Virus Powder. Virus prevents you from gaining experience points, and this completely defeats the purpose of fighting these little fuckers in the first place. And what's worse, it lingers after the battle, so you have to kill it. But here's the thing, they kill you very, very, very fast. As I said before, if you plan on grinding here, make sure you save your game very, very often. Tell me something, how do monsters know how to prevent me from changing my dress spheres, assuming they even know what dress spheres are? Final Fantasy X-2 has a very annoying status effect called Itchy. It prevents any and all commands and forces you to change your dress spheres. Now, this isn't too bad because most of the monsters that use this ability are not that threatening, but it's still quite annoying to deal with, especially when you don't like changing your dress spheres. Personally, I love Yuna's Gunner outfit. Sleep, stop, disable, daze, paralyzed. We're going to classify all this as one because they pretty much all do the very same thing. They prevent you from doing anything. Fortunately, in most cases, the effect is temporary and it doesn't last very long. In my opinion, daze from 13 is the worst of the bunch. Thing is, there is no sure way to prevent it. The only time this is going to be an issue is when you're fighting the GUIs. Sometimes they use Bay and Roar. They both do very heavy damage and they cause daze. Anytime I get hit by this, I usually just go ahead and restart the fight. Are you ready? Are you ready? Toad. This one is pretty damn bad. You can't use magic, you can't use special abilities, your defense is reduced to 0, and all of your normal attacks do 1 hit point. The worst part is the simple fact that it stays active even if your character is KO'd. I always seem to forget about this effect and I never use accessories to prevent it. I'm just glad that it's not commonly used in later generation games. Next up, we have Mini. Very similar to the Toad status, it pretty much makes your physical attacks useless. This effect for the most part isn't too bad simply because you can still cast your magic. The only time I find this effect really annoying is in Final Fantasy IX when I'm fighting Ozma. There are 2 reasons for this. The first one is because unlike other games, in this one, your magic is also reduced. But the main issue I have with Mini in Final Fantasy IX is that there is no way to prevent it. A very common scenario in this fight is that you input your commands and just before they use it, he hits you with Curse, which unfortunately causes lots of status effects, including Mini. And trust me, you do not want to waste your turns against this boss. You need to make sure that he has already input his commands before you input yours. But like I said many times, your main concern is Meteor! Yeah, that shit right there. Now guys, for this one, my original plan was to use footage from the HD remaster, but unfortunately I haven't quite made it that far in my LP yet. The PlayStation 2 version is gonna have to do. But it really doesn't matter because by now, you already know exactly where we're going with this. I mean seriously, it's the only reason why this bitch is hard to beat. This isn't your typical petrified spell. There is no way to prevent it. For those of you who don't seem to understand, allow me to explain something to you. On floor 80, Chak is very easy to beat because you can set up just to fight her. But after that, she appears in random encounters, and then you gotta be ready for her at all times. There is only one thing that prevented this from being number one, and that's the simple fact that she doesn't use it when you have one character left and Berserker Dress Fear completely owns her after you drain her magic points. So if you didn't know this, don't feel too butthurt about Catnip being nerfed. To this very day, I have not played Final Fantasy Tactics. However, this one was indeed brought to my attention. Apparently, this game has a very annoying status effect called Charm. I haven't experienced it for myself, so I don't know how bad it really is. But eventually, I will indeed play Tactics. However, there is one status effect very similar to that. It's called Entice from Final Fantasy VI. The one used by the goddess is called Overture, but it's basically the very same attack. It forces your party members to attack each other. Problem is, there's no protection against it and there's no way to cure it. But I guess it isn't too bad because this thing is rarely used and your magic spells are still free. And it's a very good thing that only a few monsters use this because this shit sucks. Especially when you're doing a solo challenge. Zombi. This is a pretty common status effect, and by now we all know exactly how it works. You become the living dead, and everything that would normally heal you ends up killing you instead. And there's one certain bitch that caught us all off guard. In most cases, zombie really isn't a problem. However, in Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy IX, it is a huge problem. In 5, the zombified character is hostile to the party. Curing the zombie status in this game brings them back with a few hit points as if you revive them with the Phoenix down. The worst part is that if your entire team is turned to a zombie, it's game over. Zombie in Final Fantasy IX would not have been so bad, except for one minor detail. It stays active even if the person is KO'd. This means you need to first cure the zombie with a magic tag, and then you need to revive them. The final boss of the game has an attack that causes death and zombie at the same time. That's just cheap. For fuck's sake, do not enter this fight without magic tags. Disease in Final Fantasy XII. I fucking hate this. Not only does it prevent you from healing, but your current HP becomes your maximum HP until you only have one left. Hey, guess what? It stays active on KO characters. And you know what that means? Once you revive them, they come back with 1 hit point. So as soon as you revive them, you need to quickly use a vaccine. Problem is, they'll most likely get knocked right back down before you can heal them. I don't like using bubble belts, and ribbons are kind of hard to get in this game. Unless, of course, you are good at controlling their RNG. This status effect is a bitch and it needs to be dealt with immediately. So, which status effect do I hate the most? Well, how about I let this video speak for itself. This is my #1 most hated status effect in Final Fantasy. That's what I forgot to do. It's all good. But I might have a problem here. This shit right here. See that? That shit right there does confusion. Now see, I got a problem. I got a problem. Riku's confused, and Lulu and Yuna are asleep. See, I got a problem. See, that's bullshit. See, that's fucking bullshit right there. That's bullshit. I got a problem. I might die here. See, stats effects suck. See that? That's fucking horse shit. That's bullshit. Stats effects suck ass. That's bullshit right there. Confusion. Yep, you guessed it. Fuck this status effect. And not just in Final Fantasy, it's annoying anytime it's used. They ban swagger for a very good reason. In most cases, it simply makes your characters attack the party, but in some games it's even worse. You might end up healing your opponents or even wasting a rare item. It doesn't matter how strong you are, this is the one stats effect that will totally fuck you over.